Okay. I think it's working. I had a bit of technical difficulties, shocker, getting into our cocktail conversation today. So, anyway, I apparently am 2 minutes late, but that's fine. And I have my cocktail. And for sure, this is a week that we need a cocktail on this Friday afternoon. Not that we're going to talk about it because we're not, but I'm just throwing that out there. Okay. But I did just want to share with you some fun things in the world of, books and nerdiness that I found. Some good distractions because we just need distractions. One of them is completely random. Did you hear today? Apparently Kylie Minogue is still a thing. Like, I didn't even realize. Remember way back in the day, like 1983, Locomotion, Kylie Minogue. Remember the video? I'm thinking you do. And she released a new album like this week or something called Disco. And of course, they played some snippets of it. And I thought to myself, I mean, okay, I'm really not knocking her. I sound like I am. And I'm not knocking her. I'm like, yay, you go, Kylie. If you can, right? If you can do this, rock on, sister. But it sounded exactly the same, like the same just sort of pop music. So anyway, I was just sort of tickled by that. First of all, that she's still a thing. And she has a new album and it's called Disco. Okay. Like she recorded it. She created her own dungeon basement studio, or what I say that. I'm being mean. But anyway, in her house during the quarantine. And so she recorded an album by herself in her house. It doesn't sound like it. I mean, she's apparently a good producer, if that's the case, called Disco. So that made me giggle today. And then something else made me giggle yesterday, and I haven't listened to it yet. And I told myself I was going to pull this up before I got on here. Oh my gosh. And I didn't. So, okay. So I'm going to do that now. Okay. This is a new podcast and I haven't listened to it yet. Search. But here it is. I want to show you the picture so I can tell you what it's about and sort of why I'm giggling. So I guess in the same vein of Kylie Minogue and my just giggling about her, Britney Spears. So I'm guessing you guys know. I mean, I didn't, so that's why I'm saying I'm guessing. Guessing you guys know that there was a whole Free Britney. I mean, is a whole Free Britney like movement. Like if you go on Instagram, and I guess you put hashtag Free Britney or something. I'm not totally sure. I'm not hip with the kids today, but you know how she was like, she has a guardian. I wish I knew the right words. She has like a guardian, and her parents or her dad or somebody is her guardian. She almost lost custody of her kids, but I don't know why. I mean, just maybe she was drug addicted. I don't know. But anyway, I just remember that happening in the background. Well, apparently she goes on Instagram. Oh my God. Yes, Penny is back. And she posts weird things. Sorry. Okay. She posts weird things. I have seen a couple of them because sometimes, you just got to be nosy and look. And, but then she's going to court or something to get out from under her dad's guardianship or something like that. Okay, so that's about all I knew about it. I thought it was slightly amusing. And then there's this podcast. Here it is. Oh my gosh, stop. And it's called Even the Rich, but I guess you can see it, maybe not. It says Free Britney, each episode is called hashtag Free Britney, and it's going to tell the story, I guess, from documented records. I'm just very curious about this thing. And so anyway, that might be a fun diversion as well. Just to see what the heck is going on with our girl from Kentwood, Louisiana. Our little girl right up the road. Poor Britney. What has happened? I don't know. But I'm curious to find out. Okay. So that's two things I wanted to tell you about. First of all, Kylie, and then our old girl, Britney. Now, well, I mean, can I just say, like, she does post weird things on Instagram. On the other hand, she looks really good. So, wow, whatever you're doing is working, honey. So, anyway, little catty note. Okay. And then I wanted to tell you about one more thing. How much the dog annoys me? No, you don't need to hear more about that. One more thing. There is a book that I wanted to tell you about that I found out about this week. It's not sort of my typical, what I would normally, read. But I am loving it and feeling like, it's in my pictures, here we go. Feeling like this is just a great thing right now. Let me show you. I don't know this author, but apparently she's a poet. Like I said, not my normal fare. Apparently she's a poet, and I guess poetry, when I think of poetry, I think of like the poetry I used to teach in English class, with like structure and stuff. This is not that. So whatever. This is the book. It's called Keep Moving, Maggie Smith. And it's the story behind the book interested me, and so I went ahead and downloaded it, like the Kindle situation. And I'm liking it. So here's a bit about her story and why I feel like it fits with us a lot. So Maggie Smith is our age, and she doesn't tell us the backstory, but at some point a year ago or whatever, she and her husband divorced and he moved out, and she has at least one daughter, because she mentions a daughter, so living at home with her. So whatever the backstory is, who cares? But she was apparently upset about this. Some of us, on the other hand, would not be upset about this should this occur in our lives. However, she was upset about this. And she is a poet, and she was struggling to process this huge change at this sort of midlife moment. And she told herself, I'm going to write, a sentence a day or a few sentences a day, something to that effect. And then she took those sentences and revised, right? And revised them down into, that's where I get stuck on, do you call them poems or thoughts? I don't know. Which doesn't essentially sound like the sort of book, like I don't understand why I would buy an entire book where each page is one sentence, but I'm really liking this one. It is, I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example first. I took some screenshots. You can't see them, can you? I took some screenshots of ones that I liked that I wanted to share with you today. This one says, maybe you have a little voice inside that says you aren't strong enough to handle what life's left at your feet. That voice lies. Prove it wrong today. Then repeat. I like that one a lot. That's not page one. Like, I have read some of this. I like that one because I actually feel like at work, when I'm working with clients, that's one thing that I feel like I have to remind folks of. And it's counterintuitive. You know what I mean? Like, I've had that experience as well, that this voice inside my head, I feel like, is telling me the truth. It's not. Sometimes it does, right? Like, that's really hard. When do you trust yourself that I'm doing the right thing? And then when is that voice inside my head trying to protect me by telling me, no, don't do it or whatever? But really, we're stronger than we realize. And so I loved this quote here about the little voice inside your head that says you aren't strong enough, and how she straight up says that voice lies, because it does. Our brains want to keep us safe at all times, which is lovely of them. However, some of our little brains are a little overprotective and we need to let them know that, no, actually, I can't handle that. All right, so that was one that I liked. Here was another one that I liked. I want to share with you. Show it to you. See, it really is only one page. So you could download this as a Kindle and read it in an evening with a glass of wine or rum punch. You could. I was going to say with a fireplace, but I don't have a fireplace, but I want a fireplace, but I'll never get one, which is fine. Who cares? Life's too short. So you can just search for the fireplace on Netflix, and it's kind of the same. All right. Anyway, this one says, accept that you may have to break on the way to wholeness. Ooh, that's a good one, guys. You may have to break on the way to wholeness, as counterintuitive as that sounds. Think of it as reassembling. You will not be the same. You will not be unscarred, but you will be better than before. I feel like you're probably going, yeah, I've heard that before. Remember the Japanese thing with the broken dish and the gold, blah, blah, blah. I mean, yeah, you have heard this before, but we need to be reminded of it, right? And this fits in with the same one. So I'm just going to go on to the next one that I liked okay. Stop thinking of change as interruption to the story. The story was always going to change many times. It was never guaranteed. In fact, only change is guaranteed. Expect it today and from now on. Which I feel like leads us to this idea of, so should I not be upset by change, right? Like I really like that quote about stop thinking of change as an interruption to the story. It was always going to change. I feel like that sounds a little, I don't know, patronizing in a way, because change can be very painful. Okay. So do you grieve your change? Absolutely, right? But this one I thought was a great reminder. You are not betraying your grief by feeling joy. You are not being graded, and you do not receive extra credit for being miserable 100% of the time. Find pockets of relief, even happiness, when and where you can. And to me, that's what I feel like my thing is, right? From now to the day I die, is just like, that's my goal, is to figure out how I can find pockets of joy. That's where the happiness is, in amongst everything else. And to help other people figure that out, like without feeling like to find happiness, I might travel to the Eiffel Tower, like that's happiness. Actually, I mean, yeah, that'd be great. But we can actually find pockets of happiness and joy, like in every single day. It's just, you have to learn how to do it. Speaking of which, I wonder, did you get to do any of our exercises? On Sunday, we had a journal about, goal setting, in a way, like what would you imagine your life to be? If things were, if you were happy, just what would be different? My idea was just that I wanted you to be able to the imagination is a powerful thing. You've heard of vision boards and all those things. I've never made one and often tell myself I should, and I will. But being able to visualize and imagine things is a powerful thing. You got to know what you're shooting for. And when you get halfway there, you realize you want to adjust it. That's not exactly what you were shooting for. And that's fine. That's the point of it. You're doing it right if that happens. But you got to envision something. So that was the journal. That was Sunday. Monday, there was a video where I talked about how to be mindful using snacking, which is sort of silly, except it's really more than that. But I just feel like if you're just starting, start there. That is a form of mindful meditation, using your senses to get out of the brain and into the body, slow it down a little bit. So I don't know if anybody did that. And then the Tuesday was the 5-minute yoga. And I'll be honest with you, I only did the yoga once this week. I mean, life is busy. I do get that. But we have the weekend. Maybe we can do it then. But that is where you can find, not the only one, the pockets of relief. Okay. The pockets of happiness, 5 minutes at a time. They make a difference. They do. So anyway, that's it for today. That's my whole 15 minutes of checking in with you guys, having some rum punch, enjoying this lovely evening. It's supposed to be gorgeous weather here this weekend, at least I think. I hope that little hurricane, Ada, why do they call it Ada? Because isn't it spelled, I don't know, it doesn't look like it should be spelled that way. Anyway, it was supposed to head to Florida. But then, and I need to check the weather because I could be totally speaking of something that's not true. I had a couple folks yesterday, or maybe it was this morning, who were like, did you say the hurricane's making a turn to the east and into the Gulf? And I was like, don't even speak those words into the universe. Don't even, right? Like, you don't want it for Florida either, but we are weary of them. Weary, I tell you, of the hurricanes this year. I think we've had 18, maybe not, maybe just like 3, but still, that's enough. That's enough. That's enough. I'm not. No more camping in my house this year. I only did it once. So, all right. Well, hopefully in our network, you will leave a little comment below. Just tell me hello. Just tell me how you're doing. I posted something earlier today, and I'm totally serious. This is your homework. You need to do something this weekend that brings you joy, and you need to take a picture of it. If you didn't take a picture, it didn't happen. I just want to see. I want to see what's going on. I want to see what's happening in your life. You know, you don't have to be in it if you don't want to. Like, take a picture of your toenail if you want to, because you're painting your toes. But we have to take these moments where we make ourselves giggle just a little. Either go find Kylie Minogue's disco album, if that'll make you giggle. Go find that podcast. I think it was called Even the Rich, but so that makes me think there's going to be more seasons, but this one's about Britney. Girl, there's only 2 episodes. I'm listening to that this weekend. I didn't see what's happening with her. And the other thing is, let me scoot back to that. If you want to, if you're just in a reading mood, find this weekend. I'm liking it. I'm liking the encouragement. And it's an easy read. Like, there's so much going on in your brain. So, like, literally, there's a sentence. I shouldn't say that. There's not really a sentence a page. There's actually, it's in chapters. And so she has about a 2-page, I don't want to say essay because it's not an essay. So whatever, like prose, sort of chronicling, I guess, what was going on, what the poems afterwards in that chapter, the themes surrounding them, like what sort of occurred in her life, what realization she had, and then the poems that came out of it. I don't feel like I'm doing a great job explaining it. It's been an enjoyable book. So those are my thoughts today. Okay, I know I said I was gonna hush. I'm gonna hush now. All right, hope to see you on the chats.